Hey y'all, what's up? Oh man, oh man. Uh, First of all, if y'all can share this before we get started, um, and do a couple quick shout outs. But yeah, man, my studio isn't together yet, and I was gonna wait to the night to post something. But lo, baby Jesus, I couldn't wait, y'all. I couldn't wait. There's no way that the Democratic Party is this stupid. There is no way that the Democratic Party is this dumb. Like, I know they're dumb, right? Like I know that we understand that they are bad strategists just naturally. But this is beyond dumb. This is planned stupidity, right? You're not dumb just because of like you're not accidentally dumb. This is planned stupidity at this point. This is wild. Like everybody everywhere has been saying, anybody who's actually been paying attention to politics, everybody said, look, even the people who like are blue, no matter who they're like, look, whoever you pick, for the love of God, don't pick Kamala. She is just an electoral disaster. Okay. Like an electoral disaster. Her being is just audacious. It's how can you be so bad at trying to beat somebody who's supposed to be super easy to beat. Supposed to be. You thought that the way that you were going to churn out voters was to pick the one top tier candidate, probably in the history of American electoral politics, to start at the top and not even make it to the actual election because her support and her donations were dwindling that much. She is the complete opposite of started from the bottom, now we here. She is, she started from the top. Oh shit, when do we get down here? I thought we were at the top. Like that's what her song would be. It would be the quickest and lamest song ever. Bro, I already see the Tulsi Gabbard videos getting spread around the computer. And it's kind of funny, right? It's kind of funny. I'm gonna get into that in a second, but it's just funny because I'm like, I know Tulsi endorsed Biden because she wanted to get the Democratic Party off of her back, essentially. Um, and obviously, she hasn't said anything about it since the endorsement. But it's just funny because even though she was gracious enough to keep up with her end of the bargain as far as running under the Democratic primary and the Democratic ticket, she was gracious enough to keep up with her end of the bargain to help Joe Biden win at least with that endorsement. And it doesn't matter because they're literally putting the person whose career she destroyed as his VP. Bruh, you can't make this stuff up. Union Jack the Ripper, black people, defund the police, DNC chooses literal cop for VP. Man, look, That's they just do the opposite of what people want. They don't care. It's so bad. So the DNC is using the back door in their attempt to get Kamala Harris in offices after a primary where voters overwhelmingly rejected her. American politics is fake. Yes, 100%. Big baby Zubas, keep fighting the good fight. MCESC. I'm assuming you mean MCSC. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, just really quick, for those of you who do not know, we're gonna have to readdress a lot of this because Kamala Harris is such a bad candidate. Her record is so atrocious that it would take like an hour and a half to 2 hour video to go into like great detail about just how bad her record is. But just a few examples. Um, she tried to send parents to jail for their kids skipping school. Essentially, she was jailing parents over their kids' truancy, and she actually had all the statistics to know why kids were being truant. Essentially, parents couldn't afford babysitters if one of the siblings got sick, so they would have their kids stay home and look at the child because it's San Francisco. It's unaffordable, right? So she knew this. The statistics were there, but she still pushed the policy anyway. She still pushed the policy anyway. That's just one example. She sent an innocent man to jail for murder. She kept another innocent man in jail for attempted murder of a police officer. She laughed at the perspective of like somebody asking her, does she smoke marijuana? Like, she's like, of course I did. Remember, she trivialized it, and turned out that she actually put a lot of people in jail over marijuana. A lot. Specifically because police unions told her to, specifically because she took a lot of police union money. Oh yeah, remember how we were talking about defunding the police? Yeah, under Kamala Harris, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. Because she takes their money. That's just another example. But let's talk about her electoral chances. Everybody knows at this point, I think it should be painfully obvious that the whole reason they picked Kamala was because of the George Floyd protests, right? Because of the George Floyd protests. So their solution, as far as electoral strategy is concerned, to make up for the clear deficit Joe Biden has when it comes to criminal justice, is to put into play a literal cop. The top cop of California, who tried to send parents to jail over truancy from their kids, who laughed at the idea of more schools and less prisons. She said, that's stupid. She said, don't we still have to lock our doors at night? So why would we need less prisons? She laughed at the idea. She's like, oh yeah, people always say more schools and less prisons, but we still have crime. So we need more prisons. Right, this is real life. This is really happening. Oh my God, y'all. Hold on, I missed a super chat. Give me a second. Let me go back to it. Drew J, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. So let's talk about the fact that Kamala Harris, this is strategically speaking. Do y'all remember where Kamala was when she exited the race with the black vote? Because once again, we all know at this point they picked her because, at least partially, largely because of the George Floyd protests. Do y'all know where she was by the end of this race? She was at 1% of the black vote. She went from a huge portion of it, like massive. Her and Biden were like strongly competing, and and Bernie was up there too. But at the time, I think that Kamala was beating Bernie in the very beginning. Tulsi Gabbard massacred her career so bad on the debate stage. Her black support went to 1%. Bruh. Bruh. Are you kidding me? So what are we going for? You think that it's crazy because like these old people at the DNC have no idea social media exists, but they're always spending all this time gaslighting on social media. Right? It's crazy because like y'all know those videos are still out there where Tulsi called her out for her marijuana. You know, my viral video of her father, and I thought it was satire. I really thought it was satirical, but her father basically disowned her and was like, "Nah, I'm good with her. She's crazy. I'm not even entertaining her." Her father doesn't even believe like that she would be a good VP. Oh man, she's at 1% with the black vote. Think about this, people. With the wind at her back, with CNN, literally like the Turner, that company that owns CNN. I can't remember what it's called, but it's some Turner. They were donating to Kamala, giving her ridiculously favorable coverage. She announced her Martin Luther King Day, which was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. She literally tried to make Martin Luther King Day about her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And despite having the wind at her sails and everybody in the establishment on her side, despite getting that huge jump, by pretending like she was somehow different when it came to segregationist policies as Joe Biden. It turned out she was exactly the same. Despite all of that, Tulsi Gabbard outlasted her. Tulsi Gabbard, to this day, still has more delegates than Kamala Harris. Tulsi Gabbard, the one who was smeared by the entire Democratic establishment, was even smeared by progressives. But yet, she ends up finishing third to last as far as finishing out the primary. And if the pandemic didn't happen, God knows it would be a whole different ballgame when we're talking about right now. It'd be a lot more contentious, I would tell you that. But yet, they decide to go with the person who couldn't even last long enough to literally get a delegate to actually compete for a state. She couldn't do it, or like some. Now, what's even crazier about this? Oh, did I miss a? Ben Riley, oh God, not her. Please, Niko, please kill. I will not be doing that. I will not be doing that. I'm not a pacifist, but I'm a peace loving person. Bethlehem, thank you very much for the super chat. I hope you're doing well. I can't believe it. Husband called me asking to check and see if you were alive. Oh my God, the audacity. Yeah, man. It's crazy. Vic Shepard, the K-Hive cornballs are coming for you. I hope so. Maybe they can learn something. The truth of the matter is, though, the real reason why they chose Kamala was because they chose Kamala. This outcome is not an unpredicted one. In fact, I would say that most people in the independent media space all felt like this was the play from the very beginning, right? When Joe Biden entered the race, it's because they knew that Kamala couldn't be, that Bernie couldn't be beat by Kamala, just straight up. She didn't have the name recognition. So I used to say they couldn't run the same scheme, basically, that they ran with Hillary in 2016. The only way it would work is if they went with Biden, because it doesn't matter if she didn't have the crowds. It's the name recognition. It's just the name recognition. It's the name recognition. It's the black vote. It's the name recognition. It's the name recognition. They couldn't run that play with Kamala anymore, especially because Bernie's name recognition was just way higher than hers. But technically speaking, it wasn't higher than Biden, so they could, good or bad, it wasn't higher than Biden, so they were relying on that. And so, but we know that in 2017, Kamala Harris met with Hillary Clinton's little Hamptons donors. She was the Hamptons chosen one. All of Hillary Clinton's donors and strategists went up there and they selected Kamala Harris to donate to. And so you fast forward, like that was, it was obvious that Kamala Harris was going to run for office at that point, even really at the beginning of 2017, the moment she left the Attorney General's office in California. I was like, why is she running for Senate right now? Right? Like she shouldn't have even won that race, but that's a different discussion for a different day. So Hillary Clinton's donors all chose Kamala. CNN chose Kamala. Also, Kamala Harris inherited all of Hillary Clinton's staff, at least at that time when she first started running. She inherited all of Hillary Clinton's staff. So Kamala was clearly going to be involved. The moment that Joe Biden entered the race, it was Joe Biden's race to lose, in which, election integrity, nobody wanted to deal with it. So here we are, right? It was Joe Biden's race to lose. So it was going to be Joe Biden, Kamala, and people had said back then, y'all, Kamala is dropping out because she's being promised a VP spot. And everybody kind of figured that Klobuchar was dropping out because of a potential VP spot, but definitely a cabinet position. People knew that Pete Buttigieg was getting a cabinet position. I think that everybody still is confident in that. But the one thing everybody said is why would Kamala drop out the race this early instead of putting pressure on Biden? because she got promised a spot. Now, I'm sure that that was kind of like getting pushed to the background for a while. Like, you're really, really unpopular. We did not think it would last this long. We didn't think that she would remain this. But then the George Floyd situation happened, right? So then it was, now we can't pick Amy Klobuchar. She was done, right? She was directly connected to the whole thing, so she's out. Gretchen Whittemore, I just don't see her winning anybody over. She's not really well liked in Michigan either. And she just got done. Like, her record isn't really all that good either. I mean, she just arrested a barber, not even, 2 months ago for just trying to open up his shop because they weren't paying them out. They weren't giving them the PPP loans. The government wasn't helping them, so they had to make money. And she arrested the barber. So Gretchen Whittemore is out. Kamala was the only choice. Kamala was like, basically, in their minds, the way their brains work, well, we need somebody who's going to answer to us that we can pass the presidency to. And that's what's scary about this whole situation. Biden is Biden. We already know what to fear about Biden. We know the territory we are trying. Like, he wasn't going to run his administration anyway. We already knew that. But they said in 2017, Kamala's our girl, right? They said that in 2017. They donated to Kamala. All the Hillary Clinton donors donated to Kamala. Maya Harris, Kamala Harris's sister, was one of the top 3 chief advisors to Hillary Clinton, like her 2016 campaign. Maya Harris was. And Maya Harris was also on the board of Center for American Progress, which is, John Podesta's little think tank, the same Podesta that was chief of staff to Obama, same Podesta that was campaign manager for Hillary Clinton's general election campaign. Okay. She wins her Senate race. She's immediately propped up by the media. Obviously, she comes in, she announces, and everybody's kissing her ass when she announces. The liberal media, I mean. She gets just destroyed, right? So electorally, to the people, she's not the choice, but she drops out early. So she's not even viable enough to get black votes. It's been proven at this point. She's not viable enough to get black votes. She's unpopular with everyone overall. And despite everything that's happened, even right now with the calls to defund the police, even right now with the calls to hold the criminal justice system accountable for basically putting us in the situation that we're in today, they still looked at us straight in the face and said, but we picked Kamala in 2017, so we're going to get a Kamala presidency whether or not you vote for it. That's what's the most terrifying about Kamala getting picked. Yeah, Kamala herself is bad, but the powers that be are basically saying, we're not even going to pretend that you have a choice in who is going to be the president of the United States. Or at least we're not going to pretend that we're giving you a choice because you don't have one if we have anything to do about it. That's what they're saying by picking Kamala Harris. I mean, these are the same people that just elected Bill Clinton to speak at the Democratic National Convention. People. This man was just implicated in court documents with Epstein. In court documents. And they were like, yeah, but did you see him play the saxophone on Arsenio Hall show? Like that. These are the people we're dealing with. And they're just, once again, reconfirming that we really don't have a choice in the matter. Now, there are ways, obviously, that we can have a choice in the matter. But that's a different conversation for a different day because people just didn't want to hear it at the time. But this whole thing with Kamala it's scary. It's scary because she shouldn't be the pick, but they're about to try to install her. Biden might not make it for the first 3 months of his presidency. 51% of Americans don't believe Biden is going to make it. Big Baby Zubas, thank you very much for the super chat. Biden lasts for 2 years. Kamala can run 2 times. Biden won't last for 2 years. That's my thing. Biden will not last for 2 years. JT, come with me and you see in the world of massacres. Oh, man. Smooth. I like that. I just watched Willy Wonka a couple months ago. The movie's crazy, bro. So yeah, um, but that's what's scary is like Biden clearly has mental capacity issues as it is, and the Democratic Party knows it. His own voters know it. 51% of Americans don't believe that Biden is going to last throughout the presidency. So if he was gone in 6 months, if he was gone in a year, nobody would blink. Think about that, because they've basically been preparing us for this, for us to elect somebody who just isn't Trump. That's basically what they've been preparing people for. It doesn't matter who it is as long as it isn't Trump, right? That's what they're telling us. So think about it like this. This is why I always say, if I had to vote for 4 more years of Trump, like if I was in a position where I just had no other choice, if I didn't know Florida was going to go to Trump, I would be tempted to vote for him after this VP pick. But I know that Florida's going to go to Trump, so I'm not going to do it. I don't feel like sacrificing my integrity. I'm going to chill over here with my integrity. But if I didn't know that, I want you to think of this scenario. Think of 1 year with Biden, but Biden's out. Biden's out, right? He's going to be gone. Kamala Harris gets the Oval Office. I can't even remember who would come up. I hope, I pray to God it isn't the Speaker of the House. I feel like that might be who it is. Think about that. I think that it might be the Speaker of the House, but I'm praying that it isn't. But Kamala Harris gets the VP spot, or gets the presidency, because Joe Biden goes down. Kamala Harris gets the next 3 years. She gets the next 3 years. Kamala Harris did not run for office for a full term. She did not win the nomination. She did not win the general election. Therefore, she can run again. And the Democrats would probably have control of the apparatus around the country. This is what happens. And their narrative of the first woman elected, technically she'd be the first woman to serve office, but she wouldn't be the first woman elected to office as far as presidency is concerned until she won that time. So that would be the narrative, elect a woman for the first time, even though she's already there. Black woman too. But guess what? So she first served that first term, and then the 3 years prior where she was moved up, she still has one more time to run. Still has one more time to run. So imagine for 11 years of Kamala. Imagine that. And potentially whoever her VP. Because like the Democratic Party is in shambles, but the Republican Party is not really in the best shape either. Half of them are trying to undermine their current nominee who's sitting in the White House. So they have no idea what they're doing either. Trump knows what he's doing. Not in a good way. Like he's being as demonstrably just aggressive and like toxically masculine as possible, thinking that's what's going to get him a victory. But the Republican Party itself, they have no idea what they're doing. So if we disallow potentially 12 to 16 years of neoliberalism, 4 more years of Trump, it's like, I mean, at least with Trump, people pay attention. So we can actually fight for these causes. At least with Trump, they don't try to pretend like Standing Rock didn't happen. If Standing Rock happened under Trump, God knows. Probably be wall-to-wall coverage about it. If Flint originated under Trump and not really under Obama, be wall-to-wall coverage about it. About how much he doesn't care about black people, but because it was Obama. This is good. What are you talking about? You don't like this water? The causes we fight for, the issues that we fight for are the most important. And we need to fight for all the issues like it doesn't matter who sits in the White House. No one is going to give us anything. I hope y'all know that. Nobody's gonna give us shit. I don't care who the president is at this point. They're not gonna give us anything. There's a reason that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all these people all these civil rights activists, they never said, well, the primary is over, everybody. You gotta go vote for Kennedy. You gotta go vote for Nixon. You gotta go vote for LBJ. You gotta go. They never said that. Where have you heard Martin Luther King say we gotta suck it up and vote for one side or the other? There's a reason. They said, let's figure out who this person in office is going to be, so we can beat them down with the issues, of course. So we can challenge them immediately, challenge them while they're running, challenge them when they get there. I don't care who is in the office. They're not my friend. It's a matter of how are we going to get our issues passed? Well, if we're going to have our issues passed, they have to be recognized. Were they recognized under Obama? No. Are they recognized under Trump? Largely. Okay. Would they be recognized under Biden? No. Are they recognized under Trump? Yes. If you cannot recognize the problem, how can you galvanize enough people to fight the problem? One of the problems being Trump, by the way. Trump was not in office. Who's the boogeyman? Remember, when Trump's in office, when the Republicans are in office, there is no boogeyman. That's what they did for the last 8 years, in case y'all weren't paying attention. But his whole time told us England for Biden's VP pick. Am I right? Yeah. Never. She was never going to try. She was never aiming to be Biden's VP pick. And I can say that with 100% certainty. Nizar is being sarcastic, y'all, but it's funny that people thought that. Freebird. Tulsi was right when she called out Hillary, and what did the stupid left do? Smear Tulsi and raise up sheepdog Sanders. There's some facts to that. That's the fax machine right there. Ellie JJ, what's going on? As a Trump supporter, 2020, I approve of Jim Crow George choice. Yeah, Trump supporters are getting turned right now. Boy, so Trump supporters everywhere doing backflips, bruh. They're doing backflips right now. Like, oh, we get another 4 years. It's about to be funny because now you're about to see Trump supporters pretend like they care about what Kamala did to black people now. All of a sudden. We don't like cops now that Kamala is running for office. It was blue no matter who, or blue lives matter. That's what they would say, right? Blue lives ain't gonna matter no more. All of a sudden, you see what you did to black people in California? The mommy villain. What's up, Jan? Laughing my ass off at a tweet saying Kamala's the most progressive out of the VP finalists. Bruh. Look, I'm not like a huge fan of Karen Bass, but you had Karen Bass, who was at least palatable to progressives, and Kamala Harris as two of your finalists. And you woke up in the morning and said, Kamala's the one. That's it. That's the one I'm going to pick. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus. No one of a sane mind can deny that the Dems are throwing the election at this point. Rising this morning explained how media can't handle a Biden win. Oh, man, they would be late on that. We've been talking about the media can't handle a Biden win. Like, I don't know if y'all remember, but MSNBC and CNN, those companies were not doing well for a minute. They were not doing well under Obama because they're always just kissing his ass and it was always the Republicans' fault. Under Trump, everybody believes every single day is like an existential threat. Every single day he's in office is an existential threat. Like, that wasn't the case under Obama, which is super weird. But now, where they get to try to just pick on Trump every day, good or bad, right or wrong. All of a sudden, they care about constitutionality, right? They care about constitutionality when he's trying to give us a paycheck. But all of a sudden, whenever he's launching rockets in Syria, you don't hear the constitutional experts writing to the Washington Post, hey, we don't know if this is constitutional. Did he just take the war powers out of Congress's hands? We don't know if this is okay. He should be prosecuted for that. Remember the last person who said that he should be prosecuted for that and impeached for that? Remember they tried to demonize her because she was like, y'all are impeaching him for the wrong thing. Remember that? Democratic Party, bro. They're not gonna give y'all shit. Nothing. Not to damn team. They're trying to install somebody. That's the moral of that story. They're trying to install a president. That's crazy. I mean, we know that they're trying to install Biden, but like that, yo, and for the record, for those of you who do not know, I am, for the most part, until we fix our electoral system, I am anti-vote by mail. And it has nothing to do with Trump. My network has been saying this for quite some time. Vote by mail. Like I'm talking about the only option is to hand in your ballot without a copy of your ballot to a random Secretary of State's office or election, a Board of Elections office. Like, I'm anti. Okay. Bro, okay. So, I'm in Florida, right? Do y'all remember what happened with Tim Canova in Florida? How the election was rigged against him not once but twice, verifiably rigged against him twice. Second time they got caught, not necessarily because of what happened to Tim Canova specifically, but because they tried to cheat DeSantis, and they were caught in 3 counties: Broward County, Palm Beach County. I can't remember the other one, but 3 election supervisors were fired. One of them being Brenda Snipes, who was in charge of the elections, who was found guilty of destroying ballots in Tim Canova and Debbie Wasserman Schultz's race. She was found guilty of this. Had to pay Tim Canova, I think, $200,000, something to that extent. So imagine that person who literally destroyed, after being subpoenaed, imagine that person being in charge of all those ballots after being subpoenaed, say, hey, turn in these ballots so we can verify them and count them. Because Tim Canova believed that he won. And then the logistics said that he did. So she destroyed 200,000 ballots. So imagine that person being in charge of counting in your mail-in ballots in the largest county in Florida, a swing state. NEB, thank you very much. Have you already mentioned how they're going to blame Kamala's loss on Tulsi? She depresses the turnout so much in all demographics. Nina 2024. Actually, I was going to talk about another video, but yeah, I mean, that's basically what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So it's kind of good that she's stepping out of the spotlight for a bit, because they're going to, if they keep her in the spotlight, there's nothing negative that can come from them keeping her in the spotlight. Because eventually, once you do your research, it's over. You're a Tulsi fan, right? But if they're smart, they'll keep her out of the spotlight. Because if she runs for governor and she starts just beasting, because I think that's what her next plan is, to be honest with you. If she runs for governor and she starts killing it, there's not going to be any stopping her. So, but yeah. So what I was saying is, imagine somebody like Brenda Snipes counting your ballots. Nova. Think about it. How do all these neoliberals win their primaries when they're about to get beat, right? Oh, wow, the absentee ballots just came in. Oh, look, however the exact number of ballots we need to win, we just happen to get. And however many exact number that the progressives needed to win, they got the exact opposite of that. What a coincidence. It's just because absentee ballots are just older voters. That's all. Really, bro? Really? What? Like, the proof is already in the pudding. The fact that the Democrats are defending the mail-in process so fervently should be a big clue that it's corrupted. Trump isn't calling it out because it's the altruistic thing to do. He knows that that's actually the only way that they can beat him at this point. He's not wrong, because you don't need every single state to turn blue. You need like 2, 3, maybe at the most. But one of those states has to be Florida and probably Michigan. And guess who has the control of the electoral apparatuses in both of those states? Michigan is definitely the Democrats. Florida, the electoral apparatus isn't solely controlled by Democrats. However, or by Republicans, it's solely controlled, or it's controlled at the executive level, technically, by Republicans. But Broward County, Palm Beach County, and even Tallahassee, but Orange County, which is Orlando, in that area, Central and South Florida, that's Democrat. Those Board of Election Supervisors, if they're still the same ones from before, those are Democrats. Bruh, it's about to be bad. This is about to be one ugly ass election. But I ain't gonna lie. If we're gonna face the end of the world, I might as well get a few laughs out of it. So over the next week or so, you're gonna see we're gonna rekindle this little thing me and Kamala got going that we started in 2016. We're gonna rekindle that thing. So we're gonna drop some fresh information, or we're gonna drop some new information from a fresh perspective over the next week or so. So thank you all so much for the super chats. Appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you subscribe if you have not yet. But always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.